G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be speaking about the NRL Dolphins. They're obviously joining the NRL in 2023. I've got some special other content creators teams to share at the end of this video, but as we are here, this is a premiere Wednesday night. Really looking forward to this. This is it does say 13, but it's a 17 for the Dolphins potentially in round 1, 2023. The thing about this team is I've studied players that are coming off contract, players that seem to be unhappy at the club, and players who are rumoured to come to the Dolphins. Now, a few of these have recently been rumoured, but I had this video set and planned a few weeks ago, and I'll mention those players when they come up. But let's get straight into the video. Entertain House's predicted Dolphins team. So first of all, I just want to give a huge shout out to Jared from League Central. The first player, as you can see on the screen, is Calen Ponga, the fullback I'm predicting for the Dolphins. They're going to need someone in the NRL currently, that big name player that you're going to want to have. It kind of reminds me like when you want a basketball jersey and you want the name on the back. It's starting to be something that's done in the NRL. And I think Ponga is a prime example of that for young audience. I'm going to pick Calen Ponga as the fullback of this team. I think that Connor Watson going to the Roosters is going to affect this club and Newcastle Knights more than we think, and I think it will mean that Ponga's departure will come. There is a clause in his contract saying that he can depart the club, I believe at the end of this year or next year, but I think we could probably see him at the Dolphins. I do want to give a quick mention to someone else that you'll see in other team, and that is Matt Dufty. Matt Dufty is only contracted to the Bulldogs for this season, and he would be a great pickup for the Dolphins, a very underrated player who's still quite young with a lot to offer in the game. Moving into the wing position is someone who signed fairly recently with the club that I didn't know about, and it is Jermaine Asako from the Brisbane Broncos. I mentioned in my previous video that he can goal kick. He's got a lot to offer. He can play multiple positions as well, which makes this one interesting. Again, you could probably chuck him into that equation of fullback, but I think that this is someone we're going to definitely see. It's not a matter of think. It's just a matter of which position, and I think he'll be best suited to the wing. So I'm going to put Jermaine Asako around that jersey 2-5. The other winger, someone who comes off contract and very underused by the Sea Eagle. He's had a big career, but the Dolphins are recruiting players with experience. This is someone who can fucking hit hard. That's exactly what he does, and it's George Tafua. We've seen him crunch some players. We've seen him score some great tries. So I think the Dolphins could learn a lot from an experienced winger like George Tafua, who is off contract with the Manly Sea Eagles in the coming season. Now, someone that you'll see in every team predicted here, and I think it's pretty much all but a done deal. I think it's going to happen. Herbie Farnworth, he's shown a lot at the Broncos. Just like Jermaine Asako, still got a lot to offer, but we've seen some of his best moments, especially during the 2021 NRL season. And I think that he'll be coming off contract and moving into the Redcliffe Dolphins, being under Wayne Bennett as a coach at the Dolphins. I really do think that this is a signing that we will see happen in the coming months. The other pick for the centres, someone you can play in the back row as well. He's been pretty good reviving his career at the Dragons after a premiership win at the Sharks. And I'm going with Jack Bird. I think he's still got a lot to offer in the game. I think his best position is centre. And I think the Dolphins could be a fresh restart change for Jack Bird in 2023. Well, underused players is something that seems to be a common theme in this team, and someone who's coming off contract, and again, I think he still has a lot to offer. I don't know if I can see him in that X-factor player who can compete for a premiership, but you know what, starting at the Dolphins, they'll probably want to get to around the finals, and this team potentially could do that, but I'm not saying my predictions for next year, but I'm actually going to go with Brandon Wakeham to make the trip to the Redcliffe. I almost say Dolphins, but they're just the Dolphins, not Redcliffe. But I think that Brandon Wakeham is a shot at being the 5'8" at this team, coming off contract, leaving Canterbury. They've got Matt Burton. They don't have Lachlan Lewis anymore, But they do have a lot of options now for those halves positions, Jake Averillo being another one. So I think Brandon Wakeham could depart the Bulldogs and go to another club. And if one of those clubs is going to go after him, then I think that the Dolphins could really benefit from a young gun like this. I'm not sure what happened to Anthony Milford's career, but you can tell that it's gone downhill recently at the Brisbane Broncos in recent seasons. But I tell you what, again, someone with a lot to offer. I don't know if he's... it's tricky to say because I think around a new team he can get that form back. I feel like he may have hit his prime, but he can definitely play better than what he's seen. He will sign with the Dolphins. My prediction is that he will be at Newcastle for the 2022 season and then move to the Dolphins in 2023. And I think it's something that's now been rumoured. I've been talking about it for a few weeks, that Mitchell Pearce kind of replacement. I think it will be Milford. And then I think he'll make the trip to the Dolphins and once again be under coach Wayne Bennett. Now moving into the front row, and I think this is pretty obvious unless one of these players comes off the interchange. It's two players that have signed with the club, both recently, one day after the other. First one was Jesse Bromwich. He's getting really, really old at the game now, so I don't know if he'll be playing for more than 2 seasons, but we'll wait and see. And Mark Nicol, again, aged experience and getting, I think, better with age. He's been really great at the Rabbitohs. He's got one more season with the Rabbitohs before he heads to the Dolphins, but I think that they will be your 8 and 10 making up the front row at the Dolphins in 2023. Moving on to the hooker position, I think someone worth noting is Freddie Lussick from the Roosters. It'll be between probably Ben Marshke and Freddie Lussick who stays and who goes, but I'm going to go with someone who's signed with the club. He probably would have been better at lock, but you'll see why this decision's here later. I don't think you can judge his skills off one game against the Panthers. He's been great off the bench. He's a tackling machine, gets the job done, a bit of a bigger bloke to play hooker. I'm going to go for a bit of a left field option here in Ray Stone from the Parramatta Eels. He's signed with the club. I've mentioned he had that game and I think he can bounce back from it, have a big season this year and play a little bit of hooker at the Dolphins potentially starting next season. Now, making up the second row, the first signing for the Dolphins announced was Felice Kafusi from the Melbourne Storm, a Queensland representative, and I think that he could be partnered with Ryan Madison. Now, Ryan Madison will be off contract at the end of the year. Parramatta have forked out their money on Junior Paulo, Clint Gutherson, Regan Campbell-Gillard, so I just wonder how much cap the Parramatta Eels have for Ryan Madison. I think he's a great player. A great season with the Roosters, great season with the Eel. Obviously, previously a Tiger as well for an all right season there. Pretty good for the most part, just a great player. So I think that the Dolphins will offer a lot from him, and I think it would be someone who would make a big impact to this side, especially in a position that he plays so well. So I'm picking Ryan Madison in the second row. And then at lock, I've got someone who's been a little bit jumpy from club to club, and I think that he'll be making these Dragons' journey will be quite short-lived. He was previously at the Cowboys, and I'm going with Josh Maguire. I think he's still got a lot to offer at that lock position. Give him a go over at Redcliffe if they choose not to re-sign him at the Dragons. They do have Tyrell Fuimianu, Jack DeBellin, unless they keep Josh Maguire as kind of an interchange player, but I think he's a starter, and I think the Dolphins would be a great addition for this bloke. But let's get into the bench. Now here is the interchange, guys, starting with number 14, someone who provides big impact in those big moments, who's been there before. It's Dylan Walker from the Manly Sea Eagles. He goes off contract. I really do hope Manly re-sign him. I love the form that he's in, and if he plays well this year and brings out next year, then once again, someone who's just revived his career. He can also play in the 6. It's not his key position as such, but he can potentially be smoky for the 6. Corey Harawira-Naera in the 15 is currently suspended, I believe, for 2 games going into the 2022 season, but he could have a huge bounce back in 2023. He's been at previous clubs. Britton Nakora, a very underrated player at the Cronulla Sharks, coming off contract. They've got some young guns coming through their side as well, Teague Wilton and some more, so interesting. And then Hylam Lukey, the rookie who I expect to play for Queensland for the Cowboys. That makes up my Dolphins team. Now, guys, make sure you check out the personal editor for this page, League Central, on the socials. He's got Reece Walsh at fullback, Valence Tiware at the wing, Herbie Farnworth, we've got, just like me, Tom Opacek moving from the Eels into the centres, Jermaine Asako on the wing, Lachlan Lamb from the Roosters making the journey, so Lachlan Lamb and Sean O'Sullivan making up the half for the Dolphins. Jesse Bromwich in the front row with Harrison Graham at hooker, Mark Nichols in the front row, Felice Kafusi and Kenny Bromwich joining Jesse. Interesting choice there. Ray Stone, just like me, he's got him in the team, but he does have him in the lock position. I personally have Josh Maguire and Kurt Thors on the bench with Poasa Famasuli and Jared Wallace. Really interesting choice. He's had a great season in 2021 and I wait to see it, but that is League Central's Dolphins team and make sure you check him out. Here is someone that you guys would know very well. It is Nick from Australia's predicted Dolphins team. I mentioned Matt Dufty before, and he's got Matt Dufty as his fullback. Jackson Paulo on the wing. Herbie Farnworth. We all have him in our teams, guys, with Sebastian Chris in the centres. Jermaine Asako on the wing. Anthony Milford in the 6, not the 7. Chanel Harris-Tavita gets the 7 jersey, making the trip from New Zealand. Jesse Bromwich in the front row with Freddie Lussick, who I mentioned earlier as my other choice. Mark Nichols, Felice Kafusi. He's got Britton Nakora, a player that I have in this team. I think he could be making that journey over to the Dolphins. Ray Stone at lock. He's also got Ben Hampton on the bench with Josh Maguire and Corey Horsburgh, along with Jordan McLean. So really nice team here. He's gone with some very good choices, Nick. And last but not least, guys, go and check out CT Dingo over on YouTube. This is his predicted Dolphins team. Thank you so much for the content creators for reaching out and joining in this video. Calen Ponga, we've both got him at fullback as that star name player. Jermaine Asako on the wing. Herbie Farnworth and Jackson Paulo moving from the wing to the centres. Interesting choice there. George Jennings making the trip from Melbourne off to the Dolphins. Dylan Brown and Cody Nikorima in the halves. I don't mind this combination. I think it could work. Jesse Bromwich in the front row with Ray Stone at hooker, just like me. Mark Nichols in the front row, Felice Kafusi and Kenny Bromwich in the back row. So again, he thinks his brother Kenny will join him just like at the Storm. Tarek Sim, someone who hasn't been mentioned, coming off contract. Interesting one who's been shopped around. I think we could see him at the Dolphins potentially. He's gone with Dylan Walker. That is meant to be Anthony Milford. Just to let you know, that is meant to be Anthony Milford. One little error there, but that is fine. Valence T. Ware in the bench, 15. Takiaho in 17 and Ryan Madison, just like me, in the 16. I've got him in the starting lineup, but that is CT Dingo's team. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you leave a comment on your starting 17 for the Dolphins in 2023. Make sure on Instagram you're a part of voting as we put the best teams up. I also just want to let you guys know that myself and Sam Rebel have a huge YouTube announcement that will be on our Instagram pages simultaneously on Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Thanks for jumping on this premiere. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later.